Hi everyone, today I'm going to be making a cabbage and bean soup. You'll have to excuse my birds. It's been kind of gloomy here the last few days and the sun's shining today and it always makes them come alive a little bit. But anyways, what I have in my pan, it's starting to get a little bit brown, but that's okay. I have about 3 tablespoons of butter, and to this I'm going to add half of a large onion that I've just chopped up. And I have my heat on medium, but I think I'm going to go ahead and turn that down because it seems really hot. And to the onion I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. And that'll help soften them up a little bit. After the onions have cooked for a couple minutes, you want to go ahead and add, I've got about a tablespoon of garlic. You don't have to add this if you don't like garlic, but I'm going to go ahead and do that just for the flavor. Kind of adds a little bit more, another layer of flavor. And I always add that after the onions just because it burns so quickly. And I've also, I wanted to mention, I've been getting the garlic that's already chopped up in the jar, and it's really good. And like, I've noticed if I chop garlic myself, like it just stays in the air, and I can't handle that. So I get that, and then I don't have to worry about it being like stinking up my house. I mean, I don't know if anybody else can smell it, but I always feel like I can. So I started getting that, and plus it's a lot easier. I don't have to chop it up myself. I'm going to go ahead and also, I'm going to go ahead and add some black pepper as well. You can add as much or as little as you want of that. Today's actually Halloween, so I'm making this soup to take over to my parents' house tonight for supper. And then we're going to take my boys trick-or-treating. So, and I'm like super nervous because my oldest son, Christian, is 13 and he's probably about 5'11", and he's like a really big, tall, skinny boy. And I'm so afraid that people are gonna like say something to him about being older than maybe what he is. And I mean, just the idea of it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna be there with him, so people probably won't say anything. But, you know, it makes me nervous. And, you know, I figure it's better for the teenagers to be out trick-or-treating than it is for them to be, I don't know, egging somebody's house or toilet paper in a house, or, I don't know, doing drugs or stealing things, you know. It's just some people, you know, they don't agree with that, I guess. But whatever, everybody has an opinion, I reckon. Okay, my garlic and onions, they've softened up a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and add chicken broth to this. I've got 3 boxes of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to add all 3, but I'm going to go ahead and start with 1 first. Okay, yeah, it looks like I'm going to probably need all 3 of these. This is just chicken broth. It's not the low sodium. So if if you'd rather have the low sodium kind, I would honestly recommend getting that, and then that way you can control the salt yourself. I'm going to kick the heat up on high and let this come to a boil. I think also I might go ahead and add some water to this just to give it a little bit more soup. Okay, I just added 4 cups of water. If you wanted to, instead of using chicken broth, if you would rather use vegetable broth, that would be fine. And it would be a completely vegan soup if you used vegetable broth instead of chicken broth like I did. I just really like the flavor of chicken broth a lot better. Alright, so I've got that up on high. I'm going to let it come to a boil, and then I will show you what we'll do next. Okay, well, I forgot to hit record, but what I've done is I've taken a head of cabbage. This was a smaller head of cabbage. It wasn't like a super huge one. And I've just kind of chopped it up, shredded it like. I don't know if you can see the pieces. But I went ahead and did that, washed it really well, and then I've put it in my pot. And I turned the heat down to about medium low, and what I'm going to do, or sorry, medium high, and what I'm going to do is just cover it and let this cook for maybe about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to see if the cabbage is done. Then I will move on to the next step. My cabbage has been cooking for a little over 30 minutes because I started cleaning my living room and got a little distracted, so it's been cooking for a while. Now I'm going to add the beans. Now you can add any kind of beans that you want. I'm going to be actually adding 2 cans of kidney beans and then 1 can of cannellini beans. The only reason I'm adding 1 can of these is because that's all I had actually. So I'm going to go ahead and add these in here. You can add as much or as little as you want. It just depends on how much soup you want to make. I'm making, you know, quite a bit because I'm taking this over to my parents' house, so there's going to be quite a few people eating it, so I wanted, you know, make sure that there is enough. Okay, I'm a complete dingle dork and I totally forgot that you put potatoes in this soup, so I went ahead and peeled and cut up I don't know, probably about 8 or 9 you know, medium-sized potatoes, and I'm just going to go ahead and start adding them in here. And I cut them pretty thin, so hopefully they'll cook pretty quickly. Alright, now I am going to just let this cook until the potatoes are done, and then your soup should finally be done. And this would be a completely vegan excuse me.